Hey, this is Marcello Kearns, disciple Marcello Kearns, reign back up in this anti-Illuminati all day, anti-America all day, anti-telepathy all day, anti-psychic all day, anti-gang stalker all day, anti-Freemason all day, y'all. So this message basically is going to be it's next in line for those who don't have any gay marriage and child marriage as the greatest country in the world. It's next in line for those who don't have gay marriage and child marriage as the greatest country in the world. You cannot, America cannot boast of being the greatest country in the world. And here you are with child marriage. This is what I'm saying. This is the arrogance of people. It's over, bro. Like, yeah. You shouldn't even want this to go on. Why should you be sad? You shouldn't even want this to go on. You should be happy. If you had good morals, you would be happy. You would. If you had good morals, you would be happy. Look, all the stuff we believed in was a lie. Look at it that way. All these fake images of America, this is the real America, where they had child marriage here. Now you see what I'm saying. And I got to do a video just about that. The real America with child marriage. We're not, I don't feel sorry for that. I don't feel sad because everything I believed in basically had a lie attached to it. All of this, the culture and everything, had a lie attached to it. The lie that we all protecting children and all of this, that was a lie. The truth is, child marriage is here. The truth is, the last child marriage law was passed 3 years ago. That's the truth. So all the false images got to go, which is also you being the greatest. You're not the greatest. Come on, man. Hang it up, man. Give it up, man. All that American arrogance, it can't go no further. You're not the greatest with child marriage and gay marriage. I'm sorry to tell you. And you see, what you gonna say about that? I'm right. It's next in line for whoever doesn't have gay marriage and child marriage as the greatest country in the world. It's not America anymore. You just passed your last child marriage law 3 years ago. So you can't be like, well, those laws were old. Give us a chance to work it out. Okay, you just passed your last child marriage law 3 years ago. It's a lot of people somewhere that thinks like this. Now, here in this country that has positions in this country, they're here now. They're still here. They're still alive. These people that passed these, I gotta do a message about this too. The people that made these child marriage laws, they're still alive somewhere. They're here. They're eating. They're having fun. Well, I'm pretty sure they're not just straight face all the time. I'm sure they're smiling, enjoying their pathetic lives. Meanwhile, they have passed child marriage laws in your country. This is not the greatest country anymore. It's next in line for those who don't have gay marriage and child marriage as the greatest country in the world. So the next question to you all is America just going to remain the greatest just because it's America? Is America just going to remain the greatest because it's America? So just because it's America, it's just going to remain the greatest. No matter what they do. Keep in mind, remind you, they've had racism the whole time. Why they talking about they great? Why Donald Trump talking about make America great again, which had racism even back then. So America just going to be great because it's America? So America is just going to be great because it's called America. That's why. Not looking at nothing they doing, not looking at the actual details of the country, not looking at what they doing out here. Just because it's called America, They can have child marriage, gay marriage. They can do whatever they want to do. They can have these transgenders, these drag queens dancing in front of children, putting butthole all in front of children. And this is the greatest country in the world. You have to face the facts, the music, man. Listen, you're not the greatest country in the world with child marriage in this country. I'm sorry to tell you, bro. Russia does not have child marriage. Let's keep in mind. Let's look at the facts. The facts are your rivals, your greatest rivals, which seems to be China right now and Russia, they do not have child marriage. You do have child marriage. Okay? You got it good. Does God consider America the greatest country just because it's America? Having gay marriage in all 50 states and child marriage in 43 states? Does God consider your country the greatest country in the world? Just because you think God's favor is here, you think God's mercy is here, all this stuff that really isn't by principle on the behalf of the people that would line them up with God's mercy. You just feel because it's your country and they had a little prayer in school and they had it's churches everywhere. You think God's mercy is here. You think God is with this country. Does God consider them the greatest? The greatest country in the world with child marriage and gay marriage. Let's just look at the gay marriage. Does God think this is the greatest country in the world with gay marriage? God say, well, this still is the greatest. Now you see what I'm saying. Does God see this as the greatest country? And you cannot say that God would esteem this as the greatest country in the world, even if God had to look, thank you, Lord, even if God had to look at a little Allen and give the title to a little Allen, it will not be given to a country that has 50 states of gay marriage. That title will be God will, I know my Lord, okay? He will not give the title and esteem this as the greatest nation on earth when they have gay marriage in 50 states. That title God would give to an Allen before he gives it to this country. A remote Allen that you don't even know. That's how God is. So God is thinking you're the greatest and you got 50 states of gay marriage in front of him. He's still saying you the greatest. God still see you as the greatest. And you got gay marriage in 50 states. Okay? No, buddy. It's all your arrogance. You're gassing yourselves. You're collectively gassing yourselves. Hey, at the end of the day, Americans are good for gassing themselves. They are. Okay? Does God see you as the greatest? When you got 50 states of gay marriage in the laws? See, Christians, you need to understand this. They are not the greatest anymore. I tell you, maybe Donald Trump got a hunch that this is true. Maybe he got a revelation of this too, or an epiphany of this. Even though I know his slogan is for other reasons, it might be part of this too. Make America great again. Okay, if he doesn't feel America is great, then how could he feel it's the greatest? Donald Trump does not feel America is great. He says make America great again. Okay, so he obviously doesn't feel it's the greatest. Well, how can you feel it's the greatest, but we're going to make it great again? How does Donald Trump feel it's the greatest country in the world, but we're going to make it great again? Greatest and great. He should have been saying make it the greatest again. See, that's how stupid he is. Make America the greatest again. Doesn't that sound better? Hey, too late for all of that now. You had 4 years in office and did nothing. Ow. You can't make America the great or greatest again at all, can you? But you can't sit up here and tell me that God is with a country that has 50 states of gay marriage, bruh. And child marriage. And your last child marriage law was passed 3 years ago. And the last child marriage law was no minimum age, meaning they can marry any age of children. They can marry any age of children. That's pedophilia. It says no minimum age. Okay? No minimum age, meaning any age. Okay? So that covers it for people that think, oh, well, it's just big kids. They're almost adults. Well, how about this new law that says no minimum age? That's any kid. That's what the new law says. Oh, man, you should be mad. And you telling me you're the greatest and God can't read between the lines and see that that's pedophilia. Well, if it's any age of children, obviously it is pedophilia. That law was passed July 1st, 2019. You can look it up. No minimum age, meaning any age. What we have to do is we have to move on globally past America. We have to move on globally past America. They can't lead by example. Okay, how you gonna lead by example when you got a child marriage law that says no minimum age of children they can marry? How can you lead our world by example? Not by this arrogance that you've been walking around with since the 80s. How can you lead us by example? I'm asking the right questions. That's how you know I'm the right enemy. I ask all the right questions. You can't lead us by example. So how are you the greatest and you can't lead us by example? Man, come on, make it make sense. You can't lead us by example, but you the greatest. You got all these crazy people in your community, which there is no cure for. You can give vaccinations for COVID-19, but you can't give vaccination for crazy people, now can you? Your country is doomed by all the crazy people. How are you going to change these crazy people? So your community is not great either, Al. Okay, so that's what needs to be understood. Is that we got to stop all this circus stuff like America is the greatest. And the reason why the world feels the way it does is because they are no longer the greatest. That's part of it. You have fallen as an empire. Okay, and I'm going to do a message next on this. There's 3 stages of an empire: a Genesis stage, a golden age, and corruption. Every empire goes through these 3 stages. Genesis, the beginning, meaning the beginning, taking that from the term in the Bible as being the first book. It's a Genesis stage, a beginning stage, a golden age where everything is lucrative, everything is blessed, everything is working out. It's prosperous, everything is functioning like a well-oiled machine, and everything's going good. That's the golden age that every empire comes to, every great empire goes to. Then generations and generations and generations come in, and then comes corruption. And this is how every empire falls off. They fall off because of corruption. That's how you fell off. You got child marriage. Now you done got so loose as Americans, you passed your last child marriage law 3 years ago. And now you're looking for somebody to blame. You got 43 states of child marriage. Come a long way from the beginning of America, didn't you? You passed your last child marriage law under the Donald Trump administration. You've come a long way from the golden age of America, haven't you? Black people killing each other like crazy. You come a long way from the golden age where black people were supporting each other and fighting for rights. You're not the same generations of Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. You're not those generations. You don't think like those generations. Now, even their community, the black community, is corruption. That's what it is. All that killing and all that, that's all corruption. That's what it is. And you sitting up thinking about the old times, and it doesn't apply to these generations that's here now. How does it apply to them? How does it apply to them when they have none of that mentality? They do not preserve black lives. They talk about Black Lives Matter. They don't preserve black lives. We can't tell that they matter. You don't preserve black lives. You're killing them all the time. Okay, so how do you have the mentality of the past generations of the civil rights movements, and how long are we supposed to wait for it? How long do we supposed to wait for you to have a similar mindset of the civil rights leaders in the civil rights movements? How long are we supposed to wait collectively for you to have that mentality? But yet, meanwhile, you're sitting around like somebody owe you something. You're sitting around like somebody done stole something from you. And you're not even in the position to have anything. Okay, if we take black people out the hood, what they gonna do to the next place with that same mentality? Now, I'm being 100. What they gonna do? If you take black people that's violent, crazy, and bring them into another neighborhood, what they gonna do? So we're not even in position to go to another place as a community. And so how black power is gonna rule when black people are biased now about what they're doing now? So that's corrupt. That would be corrupt leadership, where basically you turn your head the other way when your own people doing killing. So how can you rule with that perspective? A good ruler will call wrong, wrong, and right, right. You're not doing that. A real leader has to talk about what is happening. Your leaders in the black community are not talking about what's happening. So how can they rule? A real ruler has to confront the evil. You can't talk about do better. No. In Africa, Africans, each country has to deal with Africans, right? Africans have to deal with Africans in Africa. Listen to what I'm saying. In Africa, each country on the continent of Africa, right, has to deal with Africans. The law enforcement of Africa, the government of Africa, the community of Africa, they have to deal, each country has to deal with the evils in their country. Do you think they're sitting back saying, well, that's my people, I ain't gonna say nothing? Do you think they sitting back, do you think the Africans in each African country talk about, well, those are Africans, I can't say nothing to them, do better. Just do better. And you think that's going to change everything in those African countries? They have to confront their own people in order to rule. They have to confront their own people as it is, as it should be, in order to rule. This is why black American power cannot rule, because they do not confront the evil in their own community. So how can they rule over all of us? This is what I'm trying to show you. And therefore, no one's in the position to rule here in America. At least not white people and black people. If you go to Africa, I'm going to say it one more time. If you go to Africa, each country that's African, that's ruled by Africans, have to confront their own people, right? They don't look at it like, oh, well, they're African, I can't say nothing to them, I shouldn't say nothing. They're going to be aggressive about attacking the evil that the Africans are doing. You are so, I don't know what you want to call it, but you're dazed by all these issues of race here that you don't even confront your own people. And you have to undaze yourself and say, hey, I know there's been touchy subjects in the black community. I know it's been sensitive subjects on race and all of that, but if we're going to rule and have our people be good people in our community, we have to rule as if we're Africans in Africa over Africans. Which means we obviously are not looking at color. We all African. And you're doing evil, and I have to confront you for that. Simple stuff. And that's why I got to do a video on it, because I got a campaign about it. Because until you go and look at Africa, which it should have been done, you're going to think that people like me, as soon as I start talking like this, oh, he's a sellout. Oh, he's an Uncle Tom. Because, listen, I'm going to tell you why. Because you're not used to real rule from Africans, to where they rule over their people, which means I have to confront the evil. I can't sit back and say, well, it's all good. That's corrupt leadership, which means you couldn't properly rule. I know it's all in your head. You think you got money and that's what's going to make you rule. Nope. What's going to make you rule is you're able to keep evil at bay. And you have not showed us substantially here in America that you can keep evil at bay from your own people. Boy, that's good. That's a 7 hour. When you begin to show that you can keep evil at bay in your own community, then you can rule. Until then, you need to study an African country and see how they have to confront their own people in the evils that they do. That's what you need to go study. So you can stop acting like people that rule over Africans that are African are some type of sellout. It's a common sense thing. If we rule, we have to, unfortunately, there's going to be some among us that does evil, right or wrong. So we're going to have this famous kind of tweet mentality, like just tweet, do better. Huh? You think that's going to change the community? That's all you've been doing. That's all you've been doing. Look at these celebrities. When something bad happened, they say, we got to do better. That's all they say. That's not rule. Rule is, oh, okay, you want to do that? This is what happens. And it's not a matter of African. That's why I'm saying, now you see what I'm saying? The only way you can transition, listen, to be rulers in the world, here in America, in anywhere, as African Americans, is if you begin to understand what rulership is over your own people, which means you have to confront evil and keep evil at bay, and stop thinking that you're being a sellout because, you're being technically, literally a ruler besides color over human beings, which means you have to keep the evil at bay concerning these human beings. Make sense? Broken down enough for you. This is what it is. And until you learn that perspective of pure rule that has nothing to do with Uncle Tom's or what's the other one? Uncle Tom's or Uncle Sam. Ow. Yo, until you rule without worrying about you being considered an Uncle Tom or being affiliated with Uncle Sam, you're not going to be able to sufficiently rule here, because you're more focused, you're self-conscious all about what other people are thinking all the time. And you know what you need to do? Listen, all you need to do is rule. Pure rule, and listen, true equality, which means, and it works both ways. It means you're going to rule properly over your own people. And it's not just being cool, like the cool teacher. That's what you call rule now. That's what your state of rule is now. You're just a cool teacher. Nah, that ain't gonna work for the future, buddy. There's too much craziness out here for you to be the cool teacher kind of ruler. That's why I respect Farrakhan, because Farrakhan is a real ruler over his people, because he's told you he can't talk. Don't you know that God's judgment will come on you? And listen, Farrakhan loves black people more than you do, more than any of you do. And Farrakhan told you, if you don't Listen, if you don't stop this food, don't you know God's rule, judgment will come on you? And he said he got to stop talking for a while because you just listen to him like a lovely song and you don't stop doing what you're doing. That's what you're doing. You're listening to him like a lovely song, but you don't stop what you're doing. And it's playing out, bro. You know what I'm saying? And if Farrakhan started to say something, listen, man, everything's changing, bro. That's what it is, man. And so how you expect me to be any different when Farrakhan himself now, if you go back and look at the July 4th, 2020 message, and this is not criticizing him, this is not demon, he ain't do nothing wrong. He keeping it 100. He said he can't be talking to you and you listen to his messages like a lovely song, but you do not do what he wants you to do. I've been listening to Farrakhan over 10 years. And you sit up and think, I'm Uncle Tom, or how could I be? Listen to Farrakhan. Think about it now. Think about it. And this is me substantially listening to Farrakhan for the past 10 years plus. You feel me? Nah, man, the truth is, man, you just want people to baby you, man. That's what it is. You want to bring punishment on these white police, but you want people to baby you in your own community. That's the truth of the matter, bro. And so you are not great no more either. You were great back in the times of Martin Luther King Jr. You was great as a community back in the time of Malcolm X. You also are no longer the greatest. Okay? I don't care. I don't listen. You can have all that basketball, street hoops mentality all you want, bro. All that chess mentality, all of that, man. You can have all of that. Listen, you can be full of flavor, style, and all of that. It's all in your head. Unless all of that stops and we be progressive to where we're like the progressive concerning the mentality that the original generations of African Americans had. And I talked about this. We're only loyal to the original first generations of African Americans. I don't have to be loyal to foolishness. See, this is what they'll do. They'll make you feel like if you're not loyal to them, then you're not loyal to black people as a whole. Nah, bro, you got me. Listen, first of all, you're not the only type of African in the world. First of all, listen, let me bust your bubble right quick. You're not the only African in the world. There's a whole continent of Africans, first of all. And you do not, and listen, you do not share the mentality of the first generations of Africans that came here, which was about survival and uplifting each other. You talk about it a little bit. You got a little bit, maybe like 20% to a quarter of it, but you're not set. The other 75% is nothing but culture and foolishness. And the culture is full of foolishness. Okay? So a real black these days, a real African American these days has evolved because of the foolishness to realize I only have to be loyal to the first generations of Africans. This is what it came to. All this foolishness, jumping out of cars, shooting people and everything. It all come to the point where good Africans have come to the conclusion, I can't be loyal to that. That's not what represents my people in the struggle and the real things that's going. Nah, you don't represent me going out here shooting people and shooting each other. You do not represent me. You don't think like I do. But yet you think you blacker than me. That's what I'm trying to show you, man. So with all this stuff going on, you know what I mean? And everything going on as it is, don't talk to me about sellouts and Uncle Toms. Don't talk to me about that, man. Because your perspective of an Uncle Tom is somebody who actually speaks out and criticizes the black community in any form or fashion. To you, that's a sellout. You're going to the extreme. Your perspective is extreme when it comes to the sellouts, because the sellouts is anybody that talks with any type of criticism or any type of correction. They point out anything that the black community is doing. To you, that's a sellout. Okay, that's not the Uncle Tom that really, that's not the real definition of the Uncle Tom. You know what I'm saying? Know what you're talking about. That's not the real definition. You're not used to your family and your community and leaders being 100 about this foolishness out here. That's the truth. And then you want somebody to hold your hand and baby you for how long? How long is it going to take for you to get the civil rights movement mentality again? How long is it going to take? You know what I mean? And the parents want to be cool, and so they ain't teaching nobody. They ain't teaching their children. They ain't teaching their community because they want to be cool with everybody. That's what I'm saying. So the foolishness continues. It's getting worse and worse, bro. Another 10 years, people that's 8 years old now, going to be 18 in 10 years. Just imagine what they going to be like. Just imagine 2033. Imagine 2033, man. You know what I'm saying? With nobody saying anything, with nobody doing anything. That's what I'm saying. People like me come on the scene for a reason, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, man, imagine another 10 years of this. These random, crazy, ratchet killings and all of that. You know what I'm saying, man? Listen, the bottom line is, bro, the bottom line is America has ceased to be great. There's nobody. You can't look to black people. You can't look to them either. That's why I had to cover that. Because people say, well, we over here. That's what black people gonna say. Well, unfortunately, yes, you are over there saying nothing, doing nothing about what's the worst problem in the country. And no one wants to say it like that, but this black on black killing is the worst thing going on, man. It's the worst thing going on. And all you doing is looking for people like me to contradict themselves while your community is constantly contradicting themselves by hollering about what these police are doing, but completely quiet about what they're doing in their own community. Killing each other, killing babies and everything. These police are not killing babies. In most cases, the police are not killing babies, right or wrong. You go in the black community, the stray bullets are shooting babies. All the time. And you're not talking about it, are you? That's what I'm saying. Now, who intelligence are you insulting? Because I'm not white. I'm not being funny. But the white people are going to be more, their thought patterns are going to be more sensitive to sympathize with you and look at it your way. And they're not going to try to criticize, even though they may see that. What I see, they're going to try to ignore that part and focus on that part. Nah. I'm looking at the hypocrisy and the fact that more of it is going on in the ghetto, more of this killing, and including kids and young people being killed, more on the average than the police could ever do. The police are not going around killing children and young people. In the hood, it's happening all the time. And guess what? None of the rulers that's in your community says anything about it. They do not address it as a ruler would address it. That's what I'm saying. How you think you're going to change these crazy kids and you're not a ruler? It's not happening, bro. I'm telling you that, man. Think about how you was when you was a teenager. Nobody could tell you nothing, right? Man, imagine 20 years later. Imagine 20 years later. For everybody around my age in their 40s, imagine 20 years later how teenagers are now. Remember how you was. Shooting guns, selling crack. That's how I was. Right? Imagine how they are 20 years later, man. That's what I'm saying to you, man. You know what I'm saying? All that do better stuff and all of that, man, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna change nobody. That's not changing nobody, man. Ain't no teenager gonna sit up in their bed and hear somebody say do better and to make a whole full change. Yeah. Grown men out here in these streets gonna do better from somebody saying do better. Come on now. Grown men out here robbing and doing all this, hustling and all that. It takes leaders, Martin Luther King Jr. like figures and Malcolm X like figures to have them sit down, even while they would listen to them while they high, drunk, and everything. They might smoke and listen to them. They might drink and listen to them. Whole house listening to the person. You don't have those kind of speakers anymore that black people listen to even while they're getting drunk and high. They'll still listen to them. In fact, they feel some comfort listening to them while they high and drunk. Ease their anxiety. You don't have leaders like that no more. And the reason why is because everybody is so sensitive about just race issues with the black community so much that your rulers cannot properly rule over you. Not rule over you as to rule you, but rule over you. They can't do it. They can't do it, man. That's why. So I addressed, the main two. White people obviously can't rule. They got 43 states of child marriage. Come on. That's white people's business. The black people didn't pass those laws. Hispanics and Latinos didn't pass those laws. And I already showed you why black people can't rule. The reason why Hispanic and Latinos can't rule is because they're unengaged in our community when it comes to rulership. Okay, because what they think secretly is they're going to be the next on top. I'm sorry to tell you, you're not. I'm going to show you why you're not. Because you have not proven to be a proper ruler over the people. You have not engaged collectively the American community where you speak out against what's right and you speak out for what's right and you speak out against what's wrong. You have decided to be disengaged with the community. Therefore, why would we elect you as our leader? Collectively speaking, culturally speaking, why would I pull somebody out the woodworks that ain't never talking about what we going through? They ain't never talking about these real issues. They ain't never saying nothing about it. But they supposed to rule over us. Sorry to tell you, it's not going to happen. You've been too disengaged with the community. And you thought that was the route to go. Well, I'll just mind my business. Yeah, it's good for you individually, but it's not good when it comes to thinking you're going to rule. Nah, it's not good when you think you're going to rule because you have not engaged our community's issues throughout the years. Not collectively. So how all of a sudden you just going to come up and rule? How all of a sudden would that make sense? Yeah, imagine that. Some Mexican leader comes out of nowhere in America. I'm just being real. You don't even think it can happen. Look at that. A Puerto Rican president come out of nowhere. Think about it, though. Think about it really, though. No. Too much extra, little stuff. We don't really know. It's a matter of trust in your politics. That's what it is. We have to see you engaged with war, and more war. We have to see you engaged in these community issues besides your own community. See you addressing white people, see you addressing black people. We need to see all of that. Yeah, we don't need to see you just addressing your own people. That's half the times. Half of these politicians that are Hispanic or Latino, it shows them somewhere in the Hispanic or Latino community, right or wrong. Right or wrong. That's what I'm saying. So they secretly think they next up to rule, and it's impossible because they just don't engage the community collectively enough as far as the American nation. Nah. So it's no greatness that's coming, man. This country is not the greatest. Hispanics and Latinos can't make it the greatest. Black people can't make it the greatest. And Donald Trump need to know that white people can't make it the greatest. Say it just like that. He needs to know that white people cannot make this country the greatest. The only people that really can help your country are Christians. And you're not a Christian nation anymore. Not with 50 states of gay marriage. Christians do not agree with that. If you go to a Muslim country, you do not even take You don't have to dissect it a million years. A Muslim country does not have gay marriage. Right or wrong? And you don't need to talk, you don't need to wonder, well, it's good Muslims here anyway. Okay, it's not a Muslim country. Because if it was a Muslim country, then it would not have gay marriage. You're not a Christian country because you have gay marriage. I don't care about the well-meaning people and the people that think they're Christians. This isn't a Christian nation. A Muslim country would not allow gay marriage. They would tear the whole thing down. Am I right or wrong about it? Man, Muslims in another country over there, man, you know I'm telling the truth. They got gay marriage in the whole thing. Like you got gay marriage in the whole thing, America, 50 states. If that was a Muslim country, it would be burned to the ground through civil war. You know what I'm talking about. Gay, that's a joke. Gay marriage in a Muslim country. See, I'm trying to show you that people that say this is a Christian country, it's all about principles. Muslims that rule and they call it a Muslim country, the principles of Islam rules. If you call it a Christian country, the principles of the Holy Bible rules. Right or wrong? Okay, the Holy Bible does not rule by principle in America. Okay, that's it. That's all you got to know. And that's how you know it's not a Christian country. Stop saying that. We're a Christian nation. No, you're not. Okay? And that it's that simple. You don't listen. You can be individually a Christian like I am here. Okay? Just like Las Vegas. Las Vegas is not a Christian city. Okay? It's not. But you can have Christians that are there. But with casinos and girls dancing all around, halfway naked, how can you say that's a Christian? Now, how can you say that's a Christian city? Now, if you said that was a Muslim city, you would totally understand. No, excuse me. If I said it was not a Muslim city, if I say Las Vegas is not a Muslim city, you would say, well, I understand that. What's the first thing you're going to think about? All these uncovered women showing their butt. All these people doing all this stuff around. Because you know this is not the principles of Muslims. But when it comes to Christians, you get all lax like we agree with some of that. We do not. We do not. We struggle because we're here. Many times we struggle with all these things these pitfalls and these things around us. But when we get our head straight, we do not agree with these things. Okay? Okay? And so please stop saying that you're a Christian country. You are a Christian individually, but you're no longer a Christian country. That's the bottom line, buddy. Sorry to tell you. I'm sorry. I'm super sorry to tell you. You're not in a Christian country, buddy. And that's why it feels the way it feels. That's what I'm trying to show you. Now you feel the darkness. Now you feel that heaviness that you feel is because you're not in a Christian country. The heaviness that you feel is because foundationally, the real problem of sin here is 50 states of gay marriage and 43 states of child marriage. And your last child marriage law was passed 3 years ago, which allows adults to marry children at any age. No minimum age. Go look it up. July 1st, 2019 child marriage laws. This is the heaviness in the air and you ain't going to get rid of it. You think it's from me. It's from your country. You tripping. They got gay marriage in all 50 states and you think the heaviness is coming from a Christian? You think the darkness is coming from a Christian? You tripping, bro. That's what I'm saying. You need to stop smoking weed. Stop drinking or something. Out here tripping. This happened this happened 7 years ago. Right? This happened less than 10 years ago. right? Look at your country 7 years later after they passed gay marriage laws. That's what I'm trying to show you, bro. I don't make the rules. You might look at who I used to be. You might look at who I am now. I don't make the rules, bro. Bottom line. I don't pick these rules and principles. I don't. I don't pick the rules and principles, bro. And that's what you got to stop doing. You got to be smart enough to say, okay, he didn't make this up. You know, you're acting like I made it up. You acting like I created these laws. That's what I'm saying. And nobody questions the Islam, do they? Do all these gay people got any problem with Islam? They don't, do they? They don't want that kind of smoke. Man, they know them a lot of Muslims some Muslims are crazy. Will kill you. If you disrespect their religion, you don't want that kind of smoke. I promise you, it ain't worth it. Because at the end of the day, they're going to continue to believe what they believe and do what they do. And so are you, most likely. Out. Okay? Nobody plays with the Muslims. Nobody, they're really against you. Go listen to some conversations of Muslims talking about gay stuff. It is no mercy. It is no mercy, bro. Straight up. Christians, we have compassion, most of us, but man, Muslims, many of them do not care about how you feel. You know how a Muslim is? It's cut and dry, bro. It's like, this is what it is, bro. It ain't I don't care about your feelings. This is what it is. And ironically, man, with that cut dry approach, no one questions them, do they? You don't hear nobody protesting these Muslims, do you? You don't, do you? You don't see no transgenders going into these mosques and killing Muslims, do you? But they'll go kill Christians. I'm trying to show you, man. And y'all don't want to admit it, man. But that transgender that went into that school, that Christian school, man, if you sit here and insult my intelligence, man, or try to do a Jedi mind trick, acting like this transgender didn't know it was a Christian school, do you think I'm a moron? This is part of you being a community that think you all are Christians yourselves. But you don't want to admit that person had a percentage of motive of killing Christians. You don't want to admit that part. Oh no, you don't want to admit that. That's too much truth. Look how the news reporters and all these anchor people and the Americans, look how they defended that story till it went away. You know how it goes away in like 2 weeks or so. They defended that they didn't know the motives or nothing. All the way, they guarded it like a football team. They guarded the whole situation all the way till the story went away. Now look at it. Nobody talking about it, right? It doesn't matter anymore. But they acting like, oh, it was because of behavioral stuff. And they said all this stuff to stop you from thinking about the obvious thing. The obvious thing is this transgender goes into a Christian school. Doesn't matter if they went to the school or not. It's a transgender that went into a Christian school. Pretty sure that transgender knows, if they especially went to the school, knows that Christianity does not agree with gay transgender stuff. You don't think he realized that? So 2 questions. You don't think he realized that gay people, Christianity does not agree with transgenders? That's a yes or no question. Of course he knew that Christianity doesn't agree with transgenders. He knew this going into that school. And this is what I'm talking about. You don't want to put the emphasis, you break down everything else, you dissect everything else, But you Jedi mind trick us like as if we don't see that. That was a hate crime. That's what it was against Christians. Some bitter transgender with his transgender panties in a bunch, mad at Christians for whatever. And the next question, which should have been the first question, you don't think he knew that was a Christian school? Come on, man. They said he went there. How he know it was a Christian school? They say he went to the school. He attended the school. How he know it was a Christian school? And even if he didn't attend the school, with all the names on it, they said he had a map of the school. How does he have a map of this Christian school, but does not know it's a Christian school? And most people that are sound of morals, I don't care how crazy, they know, oh, let me stay away from the religious people or the Christians or some other, the spiritual people. Come on now. Even if people are halfway crazy, a halfway crazy person can say, no, that's Christian. A crazy person. Yeah, I'm saying this specifically, and I want you to specifically understand this. A crazy person, right, that's diagnosed with some type of mental sickness will look at a Christian facility and say, no, I'm not going to do a shooting there. What you don't want to realize is that gay people can be hateful enough to kill Christians. You don't want to admit that part because your country is 50 states of gay marriage, is gay culture and everything everywhere, springing up everywhere, all around, all about, right? And you do not want to come to terms with it was a hateful person, hateful enough as a gay person to kill Christians. That's what it was. And killed little children. It's too much, it's too painful for you. And see, this is what the Americans do. Other countries, take notes. This is what they do. When it's something too painful for them to realize and recognize, they don't tell the truth. They don't tell it for what it is. It's too much shame. When it's too much shame, they hide the truth. They ignore it. They downgrade it. They dilute it. That's what they do. Instead of confronting what brings you shame, whether it be the black community, the collective community of America, instead of confronting what brings you shame, you rather hide it. You rather not talk about it. That's their pattern. That's what they do. That's what Americans do. Collectively speaking, that's what they do. Okay? And this is the problem that you have. You know what I'm saying? Everybody questions everybody's sanity here, and you got 43 states of child marriage. I question the sanity of people that put child marriage in 43 states. Yeah, won't you question their sanity? Oh, so they're sound-minded. They're sound-minded. These American politicians are sound-minded, passing child marriage laws. Can't be serious. They sound-minded though. Okay. That's what you say, bro. Ain't no way in the world you could tell me they sound-minded. See, what you have to realize also is that all these politicians might not be mentally sound. Well, just because they're a politician don't mean they ain't off. How they got child marriage in 43 states, almost the whole country. But you looking for everybody else to be bipolar. You looking for everybody else to be schizophrenic. You ready to diagnose everybody except for 43 states of child marriage people. And your dumb tail don't even know about it. Well, let's diagnose you too. You seem like you don't know about your surroundings. Maybe that's a type of mental sickness where you just walk around blind. Hey, I think so. I think it's part of something. I think it's part of some mental sickness. You just walk around blind to the world. That's got to be in there somewhere in one of them symptoms of the mental sickness. It's got to be. But you are not no longer great as a country with all these issues, bro. Transgenders going around shooting in Christian churches and people downgrading it, acting like they don't see that. Talking about, I seen an article that said we don't know the motives. Well, that's a Christian church. Well, that's a transgender. Well, transgenders know Christians don't agree with them. They consider the Christians as the enemy. Oh boy, that's good. That's a 7 hour. You don't think that transgender considered that the Christians as the enemy? That's what it was. That's what it was. And just like it is always, Christians don't stand up and say what need to be said. You don't see no Christians talking about it, do you? It gets me angry. All these Christians around here, the ones you respect, why they ain't say nothing about this? Oh, because it didn't fit into their message. Man, we have to address our surroundings, man. We have to. You can't be sitting up in a bubble. You can't be doing that. And Christians have to go out there in the world and live out there. And they listening to you either by phone or going to your congregation. You can't be acting like we're in a bubble. We have to interact with this world, man. And they have to be equipped with the truth and understanding the things that's going on. Now you see what I'm saying? Child marriage in 43 states, gay marriage in all 50 states, and some Christians living in a bubble. Don't even know this stuff. You'll be surprised. Right now, still don't know this stuff. That's what I'm trying to show you. And I'm 100 up in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning talking about it. That's what I'm saying. That's the difference, bro. That's why I don't take any disrespect. Because half of these ministers that you respect do not address gay marriage as it needs to be addressed. You got 50 states of gay marriage. How can Christians vote? And half of these leaders that you respect, the best of them, are not prepping you for next year where you cannot vote. Which ones are telling you that? In plain English. This gets me angry, bro. This gets me angry because I know what it is. It's you thinking your message is going to be wise for the gay people. It's going to be wise for the lesbians. You ain't going to put that part in there because you don't think they can get saved listening to your message like that. Hey, man, it comes a time that you got to take care of the camp. That's what's wrong with half of these ministers. You're trying to win the law so much, you're not protecting the camp. You're losing the very people who have decided to serve God, trying to catch those who have not decided to serve God. You need to equip them for next year. All these people that follow you, you need to be equipping them that we can't vote. And I guarantee you, over millions of Christians are still going to vote. Millions of them are going to vote. Millions. There's 333 people here in America. There's 333 million people here in America. 333 million plus people. Millions of Christians are going to vote. I'm telling you. That's why the Bible says, narrow is the way that leads to life, but broad is the way that leads to destruction. Right? And I'm paraphrasing. You know? Broad is the way that leads to destruction, man. And that's sin. Because if you vote, you're directly or indirectly, supporting a politician that will be supporting gay marriage or gay politics, gay agenda, gay culture, gay movements, gay cause. Your Jesus Christ, the Messiah, who I love, will not vote, if he was here, for an American politician that would therefore then support gay cause and everything. You can't vote for no mayors. You can't vote for no governors. You can't vote for no vice president, no president. You can't vote for nobody. Because and this is why, listen closely, they have gay marriage in all 50 states. So all the politicians are interweaved with gay politics and gay agendas. It's all in there. It's all in there. Being that gay marriages are in all 50 states. These politicians who are going to rule over that have to agree with that. The politicians that are going to rule over that have to support that. You think these gay people going to let people get in there that don't agree with gay marriage in all 50 states? I think they don't fall for that. They're going to guard that. They're going to make sure the politicians at least agree with that. That's the minimum of who's getting elected. I'm telling you that. I'm trying to tell you. America, based on that, do you think God is with America? Do you think God see America as great? Be 100. Don't be biased. Do you think God see America as great? Let's be real about it, man. God don't see America as great, do it. So you're looking for fault in everybody else. Your country is doing that, but listen, you cease to be great as a country yourself. Who you supposed to be? Huh? Who you supposed to be? Okay, so you got all the answers, right? So who you supposed to be? When gay marriage everywhere and child marriage everywhere. Child marriage law passed 3 years ago. Who you supposed to be? Huh? Man, come on, man. Listen, man. I'm telling you what it's based on. It's arrogance. You talking about pride. Let me tell you the biggest pride in America. Walking around like they great with child marriage around here. That's the greatest pride that's going on right now. It's bigger than gay pride. It's bigger than black pride. It's bigger than all the prides. The biggest pride right now is people that know it's gay child marriage here and walking around like it's like they can challenge somebody else's integrity. You can't be, listen, man, I ain't in high school, bro. You got me, listen, if you thought I was some little guy with some kind of young syndrome where I'm like a young boy, I'm a grown man over here, bro. I'm a grown man over here. You have child marriage. And you have not addressed it as the man that you say you are. Your community has not addressed it as the man you say you are. You so much of the man, how come you can't address this and be 100? All these rappers out here, you so 100 about everything else. How come you can't be 100 about this child marriage out here? How come you ain't 100 about this child marriage? I don't got no test to pass. Listen, bro, you can't be serious, bro. I'd rather die than be subject to your test. Some cowards that do not talk about child marriage, and I'm the one talking about it, and you think I'm going to pass a test? Man, sucker, please, man. We can go to war tonight. We can go to war tonight before I will be subject to your like I'm subject to you. You can't be serious, bro. You can't be serious. It's all in your head. You another one that's gassed and all of this and arrogant. The biggest arrogant and pride around here is people walking around here thinking they can challenge people, got their head up in the air like a big long head whooping crane. You know how the whooping crane got the head all up? That's how they got the head up, like a whooping crane or something. You got your head up like a whooping crane walking around here with 43 states of child marriage. That's a 7th hour. Tripping, bro. Got 43 states of child marriage around here. Man, won't you be humble about that? Walking around here trying to see who people are, playing these games, all these witchcraft games and all of this stuff. All this voodoo and hoodoo around here. Man, listen, man. The only thing that is boo-boo is you. You got 43 states of child marriage. Okay? Child marriage. They can marry children at any age. All that foolishness, man, it's all in your head, bro. That's what I'm trying to show you, man. It's all in your head. You got child marriage here now. You just passed your last child marriage law 3 years ago. Ain't no way in the world I'm subject to any test, any foolishness of anybody that's doing any of that. Any of that. You can't be serious, man. That's what I'm saying. And when you have a seat and realize, okay, boom, we are not the country we thought we were. We're not that country. We're not that integrity people. When we got 50 states of gay marriage and 43 states of child marriage, and the last child marriage law was passed 3 years ago, and we have the world record for the lowest age of consent having sex with 7-year-old girls passed by the government. The American government passed laws here in America for people to have sex with 7-year-old girls in the state of Delaware in 1880. And we don't care how long ago it is. It's the same system. That's how I look at it. It's the same system. That's what it is. And it speaks volumes when you got all these other links. You got the child marriage. You got the age of consent under 18 in 40 states. You just passed a child marriage law 3 years ago. And you got the world record for the lowest age of consent having sex with 7-year-old girls. That's all together. Proving you to be a people of no integrity when it comes to children. And I ain't got nothing to do with that. That's your own situation. That's your own flaws. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I didn't cause that on you. I didn't bewitch you to do that. I'd bewitch you to do something that was done before I was born. You been had child marriage. Can't be serious. You been had the age of consent under 18 in 40 states. And you've never had it, the age of consent at 18 in all 50 states. You never had that. But yet you think I'm subject to you. That's the arrogance of the Americans. I'm subject to you, though. By what principles and laws are we talking about? By what principles and laws are we talking about? Because I'm not scared of death. So if you were coming against me for principle or reality, what is the reality that can surpass your all these different laws I just said that make you think you can go through all of that and you can kind of try to check somebody on sexual integrity out here? As a real man, how could you go past all these things that I just named? World record, having sex with a 7-year-old girls, never had the age of consent at 18 in all 50 states ever, got 40 states under the age of 18 as far as the age of consent, under 18 in 40 states as far as the age of consent, and you got child marriage laws in 43 states. You passed your last child marriage law 3 years ago, and you think through all of that gross lack of integrity, you think you can come see me? It's all in your head. You're gassed, bro. That's what I'm trying to show you. And everybody talking about be humble, but won't you tell these suckers out here who think they can come and challenge people's sexual integrity and play these games like I got a test to pass? Sucker, you crazy. You got 43 states of child marriage. I ain't got no test to pass. You got a test to pass. When you gonna get rid of it is the test you gotta pass. When you gonna say something about it is the other test you gotta pass. When your government is gonna say something about it. When Joe Biden's gonna say something about it. When Obama's gonna talk about it. When he's still around. When Kamala Harris gonna talk about it. She was a prosecutor that prosecuted child sexual assault cases. When she gonna talk about it? Yeah, she was prosecuting pedophiles. Why she ain't talking about what the government is doing now that she's there? She can see that. Oh, so she just lost all the eye to see all of that. She just lost the whole thing about justice concerning children. She doesn't have any of that anymore. You got 43 states of child marriage and she ain't saying nothing. That's what I'm trying to show you, man. So it's not, listen, man, it's all in your head. People that play with me and I'm a prophet of God, listen, bro, I don't know what drugs you do, but you on some good drugs thinking you can play with me. You on some good drugs. You on some real good drugs thinking you can play with me, buddy. You got 43 states of child marriage. Yeah, this is real. Yeah. I know you're not used to it. People on their phone so much, they don't know what's real anymore. Listen, bro. Listen. You have child marriage here. Case closed. You're not the greatest no more. China doesn't have child marriage. How are you greater than China? Russia does not have child marriage. How are you greater than Russia? Tell me. Tell me how. How? Why? Because of the military? Well, the military is not the only thing that defines a country. Morality defines a country. Integrity, purity defines a country. And you're not looking really pure right now when your last child marriage law was passed 3 years ago. That's when your last child marriage law was passed. Man, you can't be serious thinking I'm at your mercy. That's why you gonna die for it, bro. Listen, I ain't at nobody's mercy but God's. You can't be serious. It's all in your head, man. Listen, bro, I'll send you packing. I promise you. With your karma being that you got 43 states of child marriage, with your karma being that you have all of this going on by law, I don't care how mad you are that I'm talking about it. I don't care about how you caused this yourself. Okay? You, at the end of the day, you caused this yourself. I don't care how you feel about it. You cannot challenge me in your right mind. You can, yeah, think about what I'm talking about. I'm talking about child marriage. If you was a real man, it would be over with. Bottom line. So we ain't dealing with number boys. Because if a real man would say, you know what? I don't care what y'all heard on this dude. We got child marriage in 43 states. We're done. We don't have enough integrity to sit up and play with anybody. We don't have, and we may think we have fun, but that fun is going to come to total destruction, being that man is a prophet and he is a messenger of this, which protects him even more, and he's innocent and we're not innocent. That's a recipe for destruction. You need to tell your little gang stalkers what I just said, bro. You need to rewind this and tell them little gang stalkers, bro. Because what's going to happen is what I've already told you is you're going to turn a corner like you're driving a car. Like an OG, like you know how the old school dudes drive the car, they rear it around, they ride it like that. And they hit that corner real good and slow, hit that corner real easy. That's how you're going to do. And guess what? You're going to see nothing there. There's not going to be any America there. And it's going to be too late to say, well, you was right. It's going to be too late. This is why God is holding it back, because once it happens, hallelujah, once the national grid is attacked and hit and destroyed, once your national grids are destroyed, it's no turning back. This is your last chances right here. You know what I'm saying? And American arrogance is going to be your destruction. You don't have a million years to get this right. Not when you have weirdos out in your country talking about pedophiles and they got child marriage. That's a weirdo to me, because you're weird because you don't see what your country is doing. People that have rule over you. New York is weird when you got 2 NYPD cops that had sex with a 15-year-old girl. Your whole community didn't say nothing, including NYPD. And NYPD should have said something as an institution, because first of all, it was one of their own. It was one of their own, and the cops were not arrested. They were only fired. The NYPD should have bowed a knee and protested, but they didn't, did they? But as soon as one of them gets shot in the head, they're going out and bowing the knee, aren't they? That's what I'm trying to show you. Man, listen, man. Listen. Listen. It's all over. Okay? And you can come to terms with it. You know, you can blame who you want to blame, but at the end of the day, you ain't got nobody but yourself to blame for all of this. Okay? You can be superstitious and act like we did something to you, or you can be real men and women that follow God, that understand God wholesome principles and ways, and understand that you got gay marriage in your country, and you might have this new hip way of accepting everybody, but God ain't feeling that. Okay, that's you trying to learn to embrace people. Okay, God is not embracing no gay marriage, bro. That's you and your American culture trying to embrace everybody. Look, that's you. Meanwhile, God is not feeling any part of it, bro. And it's repercussions behind it that you don't want to accept because you too off in embracing everybody. You too off in embracing the community. That's the new wave. Yeah, embrace the gay people. Great. Okay. Keep in mind that God is not doing the same thing, bro. God does not change for the times. He's not doing the same thing. That's the bottom line, bro. So you can sit around and criticize me, but at the end of the day, I'm not locked up. You thought you could think it could be a public arrest, a citizen's arrest, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, man, I have freedom to go as I want and go as I please. Okay? I can do what I want to do. It's all in your head. That's another thing is in your head. You got me incarcerated. That's in your head, bro. How you got me incarcerated? And I can just pick up and leave at any given time. Lost your mind. It's all in your head. That's what all of this is all in your head. You're not as great as you used to be. And you're not, I don't know if you ever was the greatest considering the racism that you had here. Maybe you never was the greatest. Well, Russia has never had racism towards black people. Russia has never hated black people like you have. You have a history by system and community of hating black people. Okay? Let's not forget these things. Meanwhile, you think you better than Russia. I have not heard of China hating black people. But yet you think you're better than Russia. I mean, China. It's all in the military what makes them think this. This is all a government perspective. As the community, you should be able to see, besides the government, look at their morality, child marriage, racism that Russia never had for black people. Russia ain't never had no black slaves. Russia ain't never did that. And they was over there more closer to Africa, I think. They never did that. In the slavery that they did have in Russia was not substantial. And I would have imagined it didn't come with racist culture towards the people that they had in slavery. But they did not have Africans in slavery. Go educate yourself. China did not have African slaves. I don't think. But I definitely checked for Russia. They did not. Okay? But the bottom line is, neither one of those two cultures do not have hate for black people. You still struggling here. You still got racism all down in the woods of all these southern places. Right now, you got all these, you still got bugged out white people here. I don't care what you see on TV and all these commercials and all this YouTube videos and all of this stuff. I don't care about none of that. I don't care about none of these series and shows and all this stuff you got all on TV. That's certain people packed together. You still got racism well and alive here in America. But you can't find it in Russia. Not substantially. But you can't find it in China. But yet you the greatest. That's what we talking about. It's all, they gassing themselves, bro. I can't wait till you to realize these facts, man. You listen, man. How you the greatest? Your dollar ain't even gonna mean nothing pretty soon. The USD is losing its influence and power through all of this stuff that's going on. Listen, man, at the end of the day, man, listen, you ain't got nothing to defend. What do you have to defend? Child marriage? Ow. You're defending a country that has sex with children and married children. That's what you're defending? You're defending a country that still is racist. You're real racist with real actions. Okay? Not that sensitive stuff that these Americans are talking about. No, the real thing, buddy. Ow. You still got that going on here. Okay. I'm trying to understand where the greatness is coming from. I'm trying to understand what makes you so great. Police beating people down all the time. Just as corrupt as the community. Most of them want to be thugs now. You tell how they literally do. They watch gangster movies. They do everything thugs do. Listen to rap and all of that. They're tired of the police good, clean image. They're part of the culture, just like you. Although they have a police jobs, they're part of American culture. Okay? This is what I'm trying to show you. It's nothing to defend anymore. That's why I got to do a message on this too. Because you don't understand that. Listen, it ain't nothing. What are you defending? If you were honorable, like I said in my other video, you'd be willing to die. If you were honorable men, you would fall on your own sword. That's what you would do. Don't talk to me about like you some third degree black belt, you a master in karate or jitsu or some other form of martial arts. Listen, you don't go by the other principles of morality and integrity of the martial arts, which would be if you were in this situation where you gang stalked and played games on someone's sexual integrity, and then we come to find out you got child marriage, you would fall on your sword realizing you got 43 states of child marriage. We don't want to hear nothing about your samurai or martial arts perspective that these Americans love to adapt. Black people talking about everybody want to be like them. You emulated the Asians through martial arts before they emulated you. What did they emulate you back then about? I'm not being disrespectful, but they wasn't being tribal like Africans, not really. You emulated Asians through martial arts before they emulated you through hip hop. Now you got some black people around here talking about everybody want to be like them. How about I think everybody wanted to be like the Asians at first. Everybody was jacking their culture. And you can go to the African martial arts, you can go split hands like I know you're going to do. But at the end of the day, you learned karate or you learned kung fu, which means, technically speaking, you emulated Asians before they emulated you. Yeah, because some black people act like they got it all. They people got it all. Nobody else is necessary. Nobody else does nothing. They the original man, and they provide everything for everybody. Everybody jacking what they do. You know, everybody want to be like them. Okay, what about that part though? Where people were jacking the Asian martial arts, their culture. In fact, your greatest rap group of all times is Wu-Tang Clan, and that emulates the martial arts. What would Wu-Tang Clan be without martial arts? I know you don't want to hear it like that, do you? Boom, ow. Let's keep it 100. They got good skills. I'm not saying they're not talented, but without the theme of Wu-Tang, what would that be? What would that group of rappers be? They took the greatest group in your culture that defines the most powerful place in your culture. They took from martial arts. They took from the Asians. Yeah, nobody wants to point that out. But then my whole thing is just stop saying that everybody want to be like you. That's all I'm saying. That's real. And then you got some, man, it's pitiful, man. You got some crazy people out here, black people included, out here hurting these Asian people, man. And they some docile people. I tell you, America, you listen, doing that, when they're docile and they don't play with people, they don't deal with people, that's gonna bring a real bad curse on you. You can't listen, man. Listen, All that all-American foolishness, man. That hot dog cookout eating, beer drinking, old American old redneck mentality. Going out here playing around these Asians, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna get you in trouble, man. Because they ain't doing nothing to you. If you're a moron and think they gave COVID-19 to you, I mean, that's your moron perspective, bro. It's causing karma. All of that, man. And you talking about you greatest, man. Stop playing.